When questioned about Tom Hanks, Henry Winkler once lost his temper. For this actress, working with Hanks was an absolute nightmare, despite the fact that he is a beloved icon to the majority of Hollywood. Years of seething animosity were hidden under the handshakes and grins. It's finally becoming clear why Henry Winkler detested Tom Hanks so much. There are many behind-the-scenes conflicts in Hollywood, but few rivalries are as painful on both a personal and professional level as the one between Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks. Despite the fact that both men are well-liked performers in their own right, their hostility stems from a very particular period in movie history that had a long-lasting effect on Winkler's career. Tom Hanks's character, a methodical police detective, was paired with a boisterous canine sidekick to solve a crime in the 1989 comedy Turner and Hooch, which marked the beginning of the trouble. Despite its humorous premise, the film's production was anything from easy. At first, Henry Winkler had been given the chance to direct the movie, which could have been a big step for his budding filmmaking career. Turner and Hooch offered Winkler, who was well known for playing the legendary character of Fonzie on Happy Days, a high-profile opportunity to go into directing. But Winkler and Hanks soon found themselves at odds. According to set reports, the two just did not get along. It is evident that Tom Hanks had a significant amount of influence in Hollywood, even at this point in his career. Even though the specifics of their arguments are still not quite clear. Winkler was fired after he allegedly used that power to get him removed from the project. He was replaced by director Roger Spottiswoode, who saw the movie through to its conclusion. This was a serious blow to Winkler. In Hanks's opinion, Turner and Hooch was not a breakthrough hit. Despite later becoming a modestly popular movie, it was by no means the kind of cinematic success that would have supported Winkler's aspirations to become a director. For Winkler, losing the project created a lasting sense of dissatisfaction and bitterness, particularly when it involved a well-known performer like Hanks. It was more than just a setback for my career. The story served as a metaphor for the erratic nature of power dynamics in Hollywood. It's interesting to note that Winkler and Hanks had previously fought, albeit in a completely different setting. The two actors had appeared together on TV in a classic Happy Days episode 7 years before Turner and Hooch. The 1982 episode, A Little Case of Revenge, featured Hanks' guest star in a karate match between his character and Winkler's famous character, Fonzie. The two actors really battled to establish who was in charge during the fight scene, which was meant to be humorous. The suspense was part of the plot while it was on screen. It hinted at the professional conflict that would eventually intensify on a much bigger stage behind the scenes. The interaction of professional paths and celebrity power is what makes this feud so noteworthy. Even though Happy Days made Winkler a household name, he was sidelined in a project that could have shaped his future as a director. On the other hand, Hanks was becoming the kind of superstar who might influence casting and directing choices. The event highlights a brutal aspect of Hollywood life. When influential people meddle in their efforts, even well-known celebrities become vulnerable. Winkler has alluded to the incident on occasion throughout the years, suggesting a persistent annoyance. Even while he hasn't openly declared war on Hanks, the fact that the firing is still a source of disagreement shows how much it hurt him. It serves as a reminder that rivalries in Hollywood frequently result from genuine career-advancing moments where opportunity, authority, and ego collide, rather than from trivial personal grievances. It is reported that Tom Hanks had disagreements with Ricky Gervais, in addition to Henry Winkler. Almost soon during the proceedings, Gervais and Hanks became tense. Gervais, who is well known for his sardonic and sarcastic manner, used tongue-in-cheek jabs to criticize the entertainment industry, including directors, performers, and the gaudy self-importance that comes with award season. Hanks was apparently not amused by his jokes, but most of the audience laughed along with them or even took them in stride. The renowned actor, who was praised for his friendly on-screen character, appeared clearly uneasy with Gervais' scathing humor, considering it to be too incisive, too intimate, or maybe just inappropriate for the situation. The chance for Hanks to the response was received earlier than anticipated. He made a subtle but undeniably disparaging comment directed directly at the British comedian, as he shared the stage with his Toy Story co-star Tim Allen. Hanks made the implication-laden remark that Jerry was not as chubby or as friendly as he once was in front of a worldwide audience. It appeared to be a light-hearted remark regarding Gervais's recent weight loss, and possibly a reference to his changing stage image. But there was a deeper jab hidden beneath the humor. By expressing his dislike of the host's more assertive style, Hanks was effectively casting doubt on Jervis's humorous decisions, as well as his public persona. As the quintessential professional and witty entertainer, Jerry seldom missed a beat. All he could do in response was roll his eyes subtly, before returning to his monologue and continue to make fun of Hollywood celebrities with his trademark irreverence. Unflappable, caustic, and unrepentant. That one gesture and almost imperceptible acknowledgement of Hanks's comment was characteristic of Jer's manner. The incident established a somewhat lingering hostility between the two men that would subtly permeate later award shows. In fact, following 2011, Jerry hosted the Golden Globes 3 more times. His willingness to make fun of the greatest people in the industry and his increasingly bold comedy have been hallmarks of each presentation. Cameras sometimes captured Hanks in the audience during these later performances, his face frequently displaying a mixture of uneasiness and tactful control, a mute witness to the uneasiness that Jervis's humor could evoke. The rivalry developed into a recurrent, almost lighthearted subplot in the ceremony's larger story, even though Hanks never openly intensified it past that first remark. The age-old conflict between the traditionally revered Hollywood star and the irreverent provocateur. The conflict between Gervais and Hanks brings to light an intriguing dynamic in the realm of awards presentations and celebrities, the fine line between respect and ridicule. Jervis and other hosts thrive on pushing limits, exposing hypocrisy in the industry, and reminding viewers that notoriety does not shield one from criticism. Actors like Hanks, who are praised for their professionalism and all-around amiable personality, are frequently taken by surprise when humor touches too near to home. This collision of tastes was put to the test at the 68th Golden Globes, a public event where wit, ego, and star power came together in a way that would forever change their careers. Tim Allen, Hanks's co-star from Toy Story, is another well-known person who apparently despises Hanks. The dynamics of the renowned animated series in which they both starred seem to be the source of the conflict between these two actors. Allen portrays Buzz Lightyear, the flamboyant space ranger, while Hanks plays Woody, the nest cowboy. Their characters' antagonism appears to be a major plot point, the well-known tale of Woody being supplanted by a dazzling new toy in Andy's affections. However, it appears that the story unfolded in more intricate, private ways behind the scenes. Woody, who embodied devotion, heart, and the quintessential all-American charm that reflected Hanks's real-life attitude, was positioned as the audience's favorite toy from the first Toy Story movie in 1995. On the other hand, Buzz Lightyear was ostentatious, sometimes unaware, and intended to symbolize a more contemporary, younger type of hero. The plot always seemed to favor Woody, both in terms of character growth and audience compassion. Even if Buzz was crucial to the plot, this disparity only grew worse over the franchise. With each new episode, the focus remained on Woody's emotional development, frequently reducing Buzz to a supporting part that served more to further Woody's story than to provide him with any real depth. Buzz's plot was reduced to a minor subplot by the time Toy Story 4 came out. Although Woody's character dominated the movie's plot, Tim Allen seems to have become resentful of the focus on Woody in both on-screen and advertising efforts. Despite his success as a home improvement television star, Allen found himself constantly eclipsed by Hanks's greater popularity and praise from critics. The tension was greatly increased by the contrast between Allen's experience as a sitcom star and Hanks's standing as an award-winning, much-regarded actor. The performers had to be scheduled on different days to avoid direct encounter, because Allen reportedly felt so tense that he refused to record lines in the same room as Hanks. This practical solution demonstrates how severe the stress was, turning what was supposed to be a cooperative voice acting experience into a meticulously orchestrated series of simultaneous performances. The conflict was not just about ego, it was also about legacy and creative acknowledgement. Buzz frequently felt like an accessory in his own plot, while Woody's character was always the center of attention and received high marks from critics. This dynamic reflected the realities of the industry as a whole. Hanks's status as a dramatic award-winning actor frequently positioned him as the serious talent, whereas Allen was primarily seen as a television comedian, trying to make his film debut despite his significant box office triumphs. A subtle but enduring competition that has persisted throughout decades of cooperation was formed by the perfect storm of animosity caused by narrative bias, professional discrepancy, and personal pride. But the story doesn't stop there. Tim Allen sees the upcoming Lightyear movie as a long overdue chance to emerge from Woody's shadow and take back Buzz Lightyear's prominence. Allen is able to direct a project that revolves upon his character's bravery, emotional journey, and moral quandaries because Lightyear is solely focused on the Space Ranger, in contrast to the ensemble-driven dynamics of the Toy Story movies. Industry watchers have pointed out that this is essentially Allen's chance to reshape his reputation, demonstrating that Buzz finally has his own platform to shine on, even though Woody may have controlled the business for years. Apart from Tim Allen, another well-known individual who is often brought up in this regard is Donald Trump, whose connection with Hollywood is infamously complex. Trump was well known in the entertainment industry long before he became president, both for his real estate business and his sporadic TV appearances. But his 2015 foray into politics swiftly widened rifts within Hollywood, dividing vocal liberals from others who identified with his populist conservative rhetoric. Tom Hanks was among many who expressed doubt or downright mockery. Hanks was unreserved in his remarks throughout Trump's campaign. In interviews and public remarks, he voiced his disbelief at the possibility of Trump being president, calling the notion absurd and emphasizing the sharp discrepancy between Trump's strategy and the principles Hanks openly advocated. Even while the comment was not specifically intended at Trump, it was representative of the wider rejection that Trump encountered from many in the entertainment sector. Such remarks were unlikely to go ignored for a person like Trump, whose ego and sensitivity to criticism are well known. Trump did not publicly address Hanks's remarks at the time, but his propensity to recall slights, whether real or imagined, indicates that he probably had a bad opinion of Hanks long before the election results shocked everyone. This dynamic was further complicated by Trump's final win in 2016, which went against the general consensus of political analysts and Hollywood elites. Trump's presidency confirmed the worst concerns of many celebrities who had publicly denounced him. However, for Trump, the victory was a personal validation and strengthened his belief that opposition leaders, even outspoken critics like Hanks, were representative of the establishment and cultural elites who have undervalued him. It is fair to assume that Hanks's comments made an impression, adding to Trump's tense or even antagonistic view of the actor, considering his well-known tendency to harbor resentment. Political identity and Hollywood celebrity have long been delicately intertwined. Allen and other conservative actors negotiate the industry with the knowledge that their opinions are in the minority, and that public disputes might have negative effects on their careers. The dynamic in Trump's case is exacerbated by the former president's flamboyant style and propensity to personally respond to criticism. The flip side of this equation is represented by Hanks, a well-known and respected actor, whose political opinion is influenced by his cultural standing and guided by his liberal beliefs. Tension is the outcome. That is more about the larger fault lines that run across politics and entertainment than it is about individual hostility. Although there hasn't been any public conflict between Trump and Hanks, their encounters, Trump's knowledge of Hanks's contemptuous comments, Hanks's liberal support, and Hollywood's general ideological split point to a subtly tense relationship. This situation emphasizes the difficult balancing act of managing friendships, professional partnerships, and ideological differences in a frequently highly politicized setting, particularly for conservatives in Hollywood like Tim Allen. For Trump, Hanks is just one of many people who embody the cultural resistance he has regularly criticized, serving as a reminder that in Hollywood, the personal and political domains are usually intertwined. Hollywood and American media briefly collided in 2004 at a school fundraiser, an unlikely setting. Bill O'Reilly, the conservative political analyst famous for his aggressive style on The O'Reilly Factor, and Tom Hanks, the renowned actor and liberal Hollywood figure, were both parents of students attending this event. The meeting seemed normal at the moment, a standard fundraising event featuring talks, entertainment, and informal parent interaction. Few could have foreseen that a single incident from that afternoon would come up years later to spark intense debate. Years later, video from the benefit went viral, bringing the incident to light. Hanks was shown in the video having a cordial discussion with another parent during the gathering, evident who was wearing blackface in a startling and disrespectful show. The situation's optics were abrupt and startling. Hanks, who is well known for his moral character and support of social justice, was seen interacting amicably with someone engaging in a type of racial satire that has long been denounced in American society. Even while there is no proof that Hanks approved of the behavior, the image of him mingling with the person nevertheless sparked a lot of internet criticism, prompting inquiries about context, judgment, and celebrity responsibility. Bill O'Reilly, who was also shown at the fundraiser, was featured in the video, although noticeably not beside Hanks or the man wearing blackface. O'Reilly did not socialize with the divisive figure like Hanks did. However, during the actual fundraiser, the narrative took an ironic turn. In his on-stage comments, Hanks seemed to disparage O'Reilly, suggesting in his trademark sardonic and wry voice that the conservative commentator was racist. The specifics of Hanks's remark implied that he was criticizing O'Reilly's social and political views, linking the media personality to more general charges frequently made against conservative pundits. Observers were immediately struck by the juxtaposition. Hanks had been caught interacting with a man wearing blackface, a historically abhorrent and laden form of racial imitation, when he was publicly denouncing O'Reilly for supposed racial insensitivity. O'Reilly was among the many bystanders who thought this was hypocritical. The event brought to light the intricacies of public opinion, where a celebrity's motivations, private relationships, and casual comments are examined and occasionally interpreted ironically. Never one to back down from conflict or criticism, O'Reilly pointed out the incongruity, saying that Hanks's criticism of him appeared out of place, considering the circumstances of Hanks's personal affiliations at the time. The two men later addressed the matter immediately. Despite the awkwardness and the video's subsequent viral success, Tom Hanks expressed his regret to O'Reilly in public, admitting that his remark was improper, especially considering the situation at hand. O'Reilly, who showed some professionalism by acknowledging that errors and miscommunications sometimes happen, particularly in intensely sensitive social and political situations, accepted Hanks's apologies. However, there was still animosity between them after the episode. There is a clear understanding that mutual affection or camaraderie never fully evolved, even though no additional public episodes aggravated the situation. How do you feel about the individuals whom Tom Hanks despises? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. We hope this video has been useful to you. If you enjoy it, remember to subscribe to the channel, share it, and give a like. I appreciate you viewing, and I hope to see you in the upcoming videos. Farewell.